welcome back to Travel Tips Tuesday. It is October 15th, 2019, and I want to start off by apologizing for running a little bit late tonight. There's some folks that need to be taken care of, and I have some very VIP, valuable clients. All of my clients are valuable, and I try to treat them equally with respect and equally with priority, and was helping some folks out. So we were delayed a little bit tonight because of that, but that is my priority. My second priority is with travel, of course, is to serve you all well by doing this weekly Facebook Live and podcast and YouTube broadcast. So I do hope that you enjoy that. So tonight, the title of tonight's episode is Walking Right Down the Middle of Main Street, USA at Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom. And if you caught it there, if you've been to Walt Disney World before, you've been to Magic Kingdom, you've been down Main Street, you're probably singing that tune in your head, if you know what I mean. I'm not going to try it here because that would probably scare away everybody that is currently tuning in right now. But I do want to ask you, though, do you have a favorite memory about Main Street? Anytime you've ever been there, whether it's Walt Disney World in Florida or maybe Disneyland in California, what's your favorite memory about Main Street? What brings it back to you? What are those very fond experiences that you had on Main Street? That first look that you got at Main Street USA, that first look you got at Cinderella's Castle or Sleeping Beauty Castle out in California. Main Street USA doesn't have any rides per se. They've got the Main Street vehicles out there that occasionally you'll see some guests on, but there aren't any boat rides, there aren't any roller coasters, that there aren't any flying carpets or astro orbiters or anything like that. It's mainly a bunch of shops and food places and different types of dining experiences, but there are some really cool attractions. There are actually a lot of them. Some of them that I think that get walked by a little too quickly down Main Street. These are things that you probably see and don't even know that you're looking at it. Some things that are definitely worth your time tuning in to check out. So again, Main Street USA doesn't have any rides per se, no real attractions. Or does it? I think it does. There are a lot of guests that walk into their park to get, the iconic picture right there in front of the castle, or with that really cool shot going down Main Street with both sides of the streets and the buildings there, the castle in the background, or maybe you're turned around the other way and looking towards the train station right there that you walk underneath when you first come into the park. You might stop in. You might go into a gift shop that's there. You might grab some ice cream to cool down, a sweet treat there. You might go down to the bakery that we're going to talk a little bit and get some Starbucks coffee, get your caffeine fix before you start off the day and kind of move along. You might see some people milling around, maybe some Disney characters sort of, kind of here and there. But is it really worth spending any time there? So should you devote some time, just like you would to any other land in any of the parks at Main Street USA? And I think you should. I really do. Because there's some things that you don't want to miss out on when you go to Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom. There's definitely some really neat things to check out. So let's get into it. And there are a bunch of attractions. Okay, I'm gonna go through them pretty quickly, but I want you to kind of stay with me here. All right, there are a bunch of attractions. I might miss one when I'm done. If you're like, you missed this, please shout it out. Let me know, okay? All right, so starting off, Casey Corner's pianist, and I cannot remember his name. Ian's watching right now. I actually posted a picture of this guy earlier today that my daughter, not this particular picture, but my daughter got her picture taken with him. He's a Disney legend. The Disney legends were the blue name tags. There's a very special process that they go through to get those blue name tags. So anytime you see a cast member with a blue name tag, just know that they basically are the personal embodiment of everything that Disney as an organization, but also Walt Disney himself stood for, as far as customer service, as far as their sort of vision, their responsibility for their job, interacting with guests, clients, and also their fellow cast members. So anytime you see a Disney legend, please just know that going into it. Ask them about it. Ask them how they got that name tag. Ask them to tell you about their story and how they got there. Talk to the pianist at Casey's Corner, because he loves to talk to guests. He really does. The next things down the list that I do not want to miss tonight are the Dapper Dans. I actually have have the privilege of knowing one and was going to try to get him on tonight, but just due to last minute kind of stuff, it didn't work out on my end, not his. This is my fault. I'll take responsibility for that. But the Dapper Dens are an amazing group of singers, the barbershop style of a cappella that you will hear going up and down Main Street. They are kind of the voices of Main Street in many ways. And kind of take you back a little bit. They're a lot of fun to listen to. Sometimes you'll hear them parody certain songs. Sometimes you'll hear them sing some Disney classics. Sometimes some originals. They kind of throw in a variety of different songs for you to listen and pay attention to. And they're a lot of fun. They love to get their pictures taken with guests that are there. And they love applause. They love audience interaction. It's a lot of fun to interact with the Dapper Dans. They're a great crew. Check them out next time you're there. There's also the Disney Festival of Fantasy Parade. And if you're not aware, they about a little over a year ago or so, actually might have been a little bit more than that, they have this giant parade float, this Maleficent, this giant dragon that actually breathes fire that comes down at the end of it. I hope that wasn't a spoiler for you, but it's really cool. Even if you haven't seen it and you've heard about it, it's just one thing to see that thing in person. It's an amazing piece of technology, an amazing showpiece, and it's really cool to see the Maleficent dragon coming down Main Street, and breathing fire right there in front of you. That dragon actually had a little bit of an accident a year or so ago, and they brought it back within the past few months, and it is definitely added another little layer of fantasy and magic back to that parade. So we're happy to see the dragon back there. Happily Ever After is the nighttime fireworks spectacular that you will see at Magic Kingdom. It replaced Wishes a few years back, which was the longer running show that ran for quite some time at Magic Kingdom. Happily Ever After basically combines fireworks. It combines projection mapping, even character interactions up and around, or character displays up and around Cinderella's castle. There's sort of some magical pieces to that show, so you want to make sure you've got a clear shot. A couple of my favorites viewing spots for Happily Ever After. There's one where you get sort of the whole sort of panoramic view, and that's going to be actually right close to the entrance of Magic Kingdom towards the front of Main Street, not on the Cinderella's castle end, but on the other end, right when you come into the park area. You can clear a view of the castle. You can actually leave pretty quickly as well. You don't have to fight the crowds that are starting to get out. So if you have small children, my suggestion to you is to actually watch it from further back, because you'll be able to get out a little bit easier, especially if you have strollers. You'll be one of the first folks on the buses, and you won't have to wait as long, or on the monorails or boats or however you're getting around property. You'll be able to get out a little bit faster that way. But if you do want more of an immersive sort of, wow, this is sort of the surround sound kind of feel for Happily Ever After, you may want to watch it closer up to the hub area, which is where the Walt and Mickey statue is, or maybe right around Casey's Corner, that area. There are some trees and different things in there, but they did some work several years back to clear some of that out to make the sight lines a little bit easier on the eyes. So you can definitely find a spot, but I would recommend at bare minimum, camping out to find a spot for the nighttime spectacular at least an hour in advance. And again, that's bare minimum, regardless of the time of year you go. Especially during the busier seasons, you might see people camping out for spots 2-3 hours ahead of time. So at the conclusion of Illuminations at Epcot, just very recently, 2-3 weeks ago, I think it was, there were people that were camping out there 5-6 hours in advance. So that's kind of on the extreme side. But, again, if you want a viewing spot, you want to go ahead and map that out. Think about that in advance. Don't just expect to, grab a snack and get there 5 minutes before the thing starts, because there will be people lining up for that. There's a few other things that you will see. Main Street PhilharMagic, the Main Street Trolley Show is a lot of fun as well. You can meet Tinkerbell at the Town Square Theater. You can also meet Mickey around that same area. There is Minnie's Wonderful Christmas Time Fireworks. That is a different fireworks show that you'll see around the holiday season, as opposed to the normal Happily Ever After show that you'll see. And again, some of these nighttime spectaculars that you'll see are specific to events like Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. or even what's going on right now, Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. They have a specific show that goes on just for it that is not for normal guests during normal park hours. So please keep those in mind. Some of the nighttime spectaculars are specific to additionally ticketed events. Next down the list, there is the Move It, Shake It, Mouse-Ka-Dance Street Party. That's kind of become sort of a modern classic in a few ways. It's a lot of fun. And then there's Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom. And I don't want to skip this over because somebody commented on a thread earlier on a conversation that I started about some of your favorite things about Main Street USA. And this was one of the ones that was mentioned, or the card games. You're like, card games, Walt Disney World, what's that? I've never heard of such a thing. So there's this thing called Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom, and it is essentially an interactive card game experience that you can go around the Magic Kingdom. You can start towards the front of the park. There are different interactive elements throughout the park where you play different cards, and they have different powers. They do different things and cause different effects to happen. So if you're looking for something kind of cool to do that'll sort of take you at a different pace through the park, you may see some different things. I would highly suggest it. So if you're not, go, and I'm going to do all the rides, I want to, eat all the food, and I'm in and out. But if you have if you're on I would say a 5 to 7 day trip, I would definitely consider doing this because you'll see the park in a little bit different way. If you're not just going from one thing to another, you will be able to observe more and take in more and soak in the ambiance more and be able to build some different memories that way. So it's a lot of fun. So again, that's the attractions. Please tell me, what are your favorites? What are some things that bring back memories? I will tell you that one of the things that was very common in the thread earlier was the smells. Honestly, you're probably like, smells? What in the world? Smells Disney. What's going on? If you have not been to Walt Disney World, or you haven't been recently, smells are one of the main things that kind of sort of drive memories. Even, there's some psychological research that goes into that. I won't go into huge details about that. But the smells, coming from the bakery, coming from, the ice cream shop, coming from, some of the restaurants that are in the area that we'll talk about here in a second. They're wonderful. They're pleasant. They bring joy to you in a lot of different ways. So it's one of the ways that Disney honestly tries to immerse their guests in that experience. You're not just going to walk into, a theme park. And I'm not going to name like other theme parks here because we're kind of talking about Disney specifically tonight. But there are some places that you might go and around the food, you're going to smell, that fried oil smell from hamburgers and hot dogs and, French fries and stuff like that, or whatever pizza oven has been cranking out, pre-made pizza, and just sort of those odd sort of smells that sort of waft in the air. You're not going to get that at Disney. You're going to smell some very specific things that you're like, wow, that's pretty present. That's pretty cool. So I just keep that in mind. And a special shout out to my friend Nicole Nichols. I tagged her in a post earlier today, but she is kind of the owner operator of a candle company, and she did not ask me to endorse her. This is kind of an endorsement. I'm not sponsored again, so please keep this in mind. Lux Illume is one of her brands. The other kind of Disney-inspired brand is called Circa 1955. So if you're looking for some amazingly scented Disney-themed or Disney-inspired candle scents to sort of take you back to your vacation, please check out Circa 1955. I will post a link to that in the comments, regardless of what platform you're listening on or watching on, so you can look that up if you're curious about it. So she's pretty awesome, puts out some amazing products, offers great customer service as well. So highly recommend her products. So again, what is your favorite thing about Main Street USA? If you're listening live, if you are listening on delay, doesn't matter. Please message us. I would love to talk to you about it. Let's get into dining, and we are going to start at the top of the list. The king of the hot dogs, I would say probably at all of Walt Disney World, is going to be Casey's Corner. And Casey's Corner has that sort of classic American fare. When you think of American food, it's hamburgers and hot dogs, right? They've got a lot of that for you. They've got corn dog nuggets that we love, and this is quick, easy, grab and go kind of food. It's also a great place to go to get a complimentary cup of ice water. So if you're thinking, it's hot at Disney, I want a way to refill my water bottle on the go, stop by Casey's. Normally they'll have a tray of ice water sitting right there on the counter. You can just walk up and get it as long as there's not like a million people in front of you. Usually it's set off to the side, so even if you're not ordering food or drink for pay in there, you can still skate around to the side and get one of those complimentary kind of cups of ice water, and it is a great refresher to kind of start your day there, or fill up halfway through your day or in your day if you just need something to quench your thirst as you're going along. There's also the Castle Central Plaza Popcorn and Ice Cream, which is a food stand and cart. You can get popcorn and some Disney ice cream treats there. You will also see Joffrey's Transportation and Ticket Center, the Magic Kingdom popcorn carts. There are popcorn carts everywhere. People love their popcorn at Walt Disney World. The Main Street Bakery. Now, Main Street Bakery has gone through a transformation a few years ago, and now they are a full-force, full-service Starbucks. So if you're a fan of Starbucks, like I am, I'm a huge fan of the pumpkin cream cold brew. I had one today. It was absolutely delicious, and I highly recommend that. If you're not a pumpkin spice fan, may not like it, that's okay. But you can go in and grab your just regular black cup of coffee. You can go in and grab your favorite Frappuccino, tea, whatever it is. Again, full service Starbucks. They have Disney inspired "You Are Here" mugs, just the classic handled ceramic mugs, and also the tumblers as well. So you can grab one of those while you're there at the Main Street Bakery right there on Main Street. There's also the Main Street Ice Cold Refreshment Cart, which is another food stand cart, excuse me, where you can grab a cold drink, a Coke or something like that, pop, soda, wherever you're from, whatever you want to call it, and a couple of other refreshment options they'll have there for you. There's, again, another popcorn cart that you'll run into on Main Street. There's the Plaza Ice Cream Parlor, which is a great option. I want to talk about character dining real quick. The Crystal Palace is one of my favorite character dining options on property. It is definitely one not to be missed, where you can meet Pooh and friends as breakfast, lunch, and dinner character dining options, and the food is great. Even if you have allergies, you're thinking buffet, allergies don't really go together all that well. You tell them when you check in, and they will send a chef to your table. We've had that happen for us, where they've prepared specific, kind of food for us and walked us over to the buffet to show us what to eat, what not to eat. I have some food allergies myself. They've done this with me. They've done it with my children. So they're very, very good. I love the Crystal Palace. I go there any chance I get. We have some amazing memories there. So thinking about character dining, would definitely consider Crystal Palace as an option for you. There's also the Main Street Confectionary, which is another food stand cart kind of place. There's the Plaza Restaurant, where you're going to get it's a table service restaurant, but it's kind of I guess I would describe it as kind of upper scale sandwich options for you that you wouldn't necessarily see at a counter service restaurant. It has a little bit slower pace than, say, like a Casey's Corner kind of place would. There's also Tony's Town Square restaurant, which is an Italian, sort of an American Italian inspired restaurant. So if you're looking to get your Italian fix while you're there at Disney, at Magic Kingdom specifically, it's a great option for you. And last but not least, there's another ice cream cart. So if you have not caught on a theme, there are lots of ice cream and lots of popcorn carts all around kind of the Main Street USA. You're probably thinking, well, why so many? There are a lot of people. Like, you have to go through there and out of there, as you're entering and exiting the park. That's where people go to shop. That's where people go to eat. That's where people go to watch the fireworks and some of the parades, that you will see there. So lots of options, very quick and easy things to grab something for you. So again, Main Street USA, you're going to walk through it. You're going to walk out of it if you're going into the park. I highly suggest you take your time through there. There's some really cool things to see that I didn't even talk about. Some unique things that are actually at Disneyland, Main Street USA versus Walt Disney World. Key example being the light on in Walt's apartment above the fire station at Disneyland is pretty cool. So that light has been on because he wanted the people to kind of know that he was there. So whenever Walt Disney would stay in his be in his private apartment above the fire station in Disneyland in California, and the Disneyland Park, to be specific, kind of their version of Magic Kingdom, though it's definitely not a carbon copy. There's some similarities, again, we've talked about, but he would turn the light on in his apartment anytime he was there to let Gus know that he was there. And in his honor, they would actually leave that light on. It's still on today, whenever the park was open, to remind people of his legacy and the fact that he was engaged with the people. One of the things that he would always say that would he would say it in a matter of speaking, but he would pass it on, and leave a legacy to remind his cast members, his employees that he called cast members. They're still called that today. That it's about the guest, it's about the people. So, keep that in mind as you're going in there. As you see that, it's just kind of a piece of Disney history. Also, you want to look on the windows. There's sort of some tributes to some classic Disney employees and Imagineers and Disney family members that you'll see a lot along the way. All those letters on those windows, those things were hand painted. This was not, a screen sort of decal stuck up there. A lot of time was taken in to the detail of those windows. There's a lot of really cool things that you'll see along the way. Again, if you just slow down a little bit and pay attention to some of the detail around you. So Main Street USA is a super magical place. And, I do hope that next time you're at Magic Kingdom or you're at Disneyland Park in California, that you take your time taking a peek at all the little fun things there are to offer around Main Street USA. So thanks so much for joining me tonight for Travel Tips Tuesday. This is fun, again, each and every week. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much. Please click subscribe. Only have a few people right now that have clicked subscribe. If you have not subscribed on YouTube yet, would love for you to. Just go to YouTube and search Travel Tips Tuesday. You'll recognize the logo with the black and the sort of blue castle in the front. It says Travel Tips Tuesday on it. I am uploading some older episodes. I'm also uploading all the new ones as I can that have come up over the past few weeks. I'm creating some playlists for everybody. So if you have a question about something specific, whether it's resort hotel perks or dining perks or transportation or the Magic Kingdom, we're kind of wrapping up our conversation about Magic Kingdom this week. Please go there, search that. Give me a rating on Apple Podcast if you listen there. We'd love for you to do that. I would be greatly appreciative. And as always, my travel planning services are completely free for you when you book a package with me. Would love to talk to you about that. There's some great promotions that are going on with Disney, as well as some cruise lines out there. And speaking of cruise lines, next week we're going to take a break from talking about Disney, and we're going to talk about something else. We're going to talk about cruising. We may mention Disney Cruise Line in the process, but we're going to talk about cruising in large part. What does it take? What is it all about? What are some basics you need to be aware of going into planning a cruise, and how a cruise could be one of the best vacations you ever take. So, we'd love to talk to you more about that, and we do hope you have a magical evening, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.